it Monday already? Look at the difference behind me. Can you see those two guitars? Maybe we need to today, later, we'll zoom in on those two guitars. I moved a couple of things away from them because I wanted you to see them. And we're going to change the camera setup in a little bit. And we're going to let you see those guitars in all their glory. But I took the stuff down in front of them because this looks like fall and this looks like fall. And you put the two colors of the two guitars together and it looks like we're in the fall season. I also wore a sweater that looks like we're in the fall season. Am I convincing y'all it's fall? Or did the traffic on 515 this weekend convince you it was fall? People were headed to the Ball Ground Rocks Festival. They were headed to the Marble Festival. They were headed to all the apple houses to buy apples. But the coolest thing was seeing everybody being so nice. Everybody was friendly and sweet and happy. We have a whole bunch of pictures we're going to share with y'all. But my color was a little weird. I looked like I was a pumpkin. I'm not a pumpkin. But I want to share some of the stuff that goes on at the festivals, at the markets, and at the places you will be visiting. The Apple Festival's coming up. The Sorghum Festival's coming up. Talking Rock Heritage Days are coming up. What else is coming up? Blairsville's having a big festival. There's something going on everywhere. And as always, the Georgia Mountain Fairgrounds is coming back. And guess what? On October 10th through the 18th. There you go. And I brought some things. This is kind of like show and tell today. We're going to have a guest with me in just a few minutes. But I said I need a little time. I need a little time to talk to folks because one of our really, really close associates that we work with all the time lost his dad this week or last week, and his service is today. And I was reading about his father, and I thought, oh my gosh, and I thought, could we all live a life like this man? Wouldn't the world be a better place? So we're going to share a photo of a very special gentleman. His name is Fred Wood Snell Jr. And we're going to share that with you in a few minutes. There you go. This gentleman is the father of our developer. And I want to read you a little bit about this gentleman. Fred Wood Snell Jr., age 89, went home to be with his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. On Wednesday, October the 1st, Fred was born January 29, 1936 in Rome, Georgia. He was the son of the late Fred Wood Snell and Mildred McCord Snell. Fred is preceded in death by his wife and sweetheart of 64 years, Carol Rogers Snell, and I actually visited with them and attended her service. I'm not going to get to attend his, but... And then on August the 2nd, at 89 years young, Fred married Annette Richards. I just thought that was so sweet that he found love again. He was excited about sharing his life with his new wife. And you think about that. If you're happy and you're successful and your marriage is great, then you want to carry on. And I got to reading this man's obit. His obit is like, holy cow. He attended Darlington School in Rome. He graduated from Emory University. He served as the president of Kappa Alpha fraternity after college. Fred served in active duty on the Air National Guard. He continued his education later in life and went to the University of Tennessee. He was no slacker. His life was defined, and this is what I love. His life was defined by his deep love for the Lord, his commitment to service, and his loving devotion to family. Fred was a devoted Christian and lived his life through service to others. He loved to share the love of Christ with young and old alike. And in 1999, 2000, and 2001, Fred served with his wife Carol in mission service 3 months for 3 years in Austria, East London, England. And over the years, he worshiped at Dalton First Baptist. So he's a neighbor from Dalton. He worshiped at Dalton First Baptist, Grace Presbyterian at Big Canoe Chapel, and Big Peachtree Corners Baptist. All his life, he dedicated his life to the Lord. He also dedicated 37 years of service to the Boy Scouts of America. His leadership role included Scoutmaster for 15 years, Cub Master, and various commissioner roles. He was recipient of the Silver Beaver Award, the Good Shepherd Award, the Vigil Award, Vigil Honor of the Order of the Arrow, plus various other scouting honors. It goes on and on and on. But the thing that he was most proud of was sharing the Lord with people. He served as president of the Dalton Area American Heart Association, Emory Alumni Association, Civitan Club, Jasper Rotary Club, and as president of the Dalton chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution. The man didn't slow down, and he went to be with the Lord at 89 years old. One of his proudest moments was being selected as the 1996 Olympic torch bearer. He completed the mile run torch in hand as the torch made its way to Atlanta for the opening ceremonies. It is amazing. It is amazing. And when you read on and on and on, his service will be today at 1 o'clock in Dalton. And this is so fitting of him. In lieu of flowers, memorial contributions may be made to mission to the world. And that's what he was about. He left a legacy of sharing the Word and the Bible and the Lord with others. Now, maybe we should all follow in his path, and maybe we should all leave a legacy of sharing the Word and the Bible with others. And so to the Snell family, we'll be praying for y'all to get through today. And, wow, what a legacy he left. Now, we're going to share some of the things I did this weekend, and this is what I did real good. I have a neighbor who cooked this shrimp. And I will tell you, I've eaten in restaurants everywhere, anywhere, everywhere, this and this and this. But that shrimp was probably some of the best stuff I ever put in my mouth. And then other neighbors showed up, and they had different things. Now I have a neighbor who is Italian. This young man made this amazing bread. And might I say, after we visited a while, I took a few pieces home with me because it was so yummy. Homemade bread with olives and olive oil and a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was to die for. This is the time of year we love to cook because we love that the temperatures are cooler. It's not so hot in your kitchen. You can cook a little bit. You can share a little bit. You can invite friends over. You can show up at somebody's house with food. That's what fall brings. And this, oh my gosh, that was so good. We got more shrimp. There's something about fall weather. It just makes us want to get together, have a good time, bring some food, make it simple, make it easy. It's basically, it was a tailgate party, and it was just amazing. This was yummy. It was so crazy because everybody brought different things, and that was the cool thing. Nobody brought the same stuff. Everything was different. We had a great variety. And then we got down to the chocolate trifle that you will see in a minute, and oh my goodness, nobody wanted to cut it, and this was yummy. Everything was so yummy, and I'm sitting there thinking, nobody planned anything. It was just one of those impromptu, and everybody showed up with something different. And of course, that's Wilkes Wings from down in Ball Ground. If you have not been to Wilkes Meat Market, holy goodness, it is so yummy, and their wings are to die for. And that, I wish I had tasted that, because that looked like it was some kind of corn dish, and I'm going to have to ask Mitchell what that was. But it looked so good, and it did a disappearing act. So it was gone, and I didn't get any, and I'd love to taste it. And there, once again, the shrimp, you can tell from the pictures that I took, the shrimp were going down. People were eating the shrimp, and it was going down, going down, going down. But get together with your friends and neighbors. Just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, what are y'all doing Friday night? And everybody bring a dish and show up, and that's what they did. And I love that. I love that. And that looked so yummy. I didn't taste that. I was trying to just, not eat all that, but boy, I could have. But everybody did something really neat and really different, and nobody had to do a lot of work because everybody did one thing or two things, and then it just made it easier on everybody. So I think that's my way to fly from now on. I think that's pretty awesome. And that made such sense because we had a little protein, and we had some, what do you get out of grapes? You get vitamins. And so everything made sense. It was awesome. It was a great, great night. Now, that didn't make a whole lot of sense because there's still cookies on the tray. I don't know why. They should have all been eaten up. I think they were later. That was an early picture. But I got so tickled because everybody brought something different, and it was so neat to see the variety. there's chicken salad, and there's chicken salad sandwiches with hot pepper jelly. I know somebody who makes those. Her name's Cherie Martin. And it was a fun day. It was a fun evening. The weather was perfect. And there, cookies and cookies and cookies. It's pumpkin time. And I know Tracy brought those. And it was it was a great night. And that was grilled chicken, I think. Oh my gosh. Everything was good. And it was everybody, I guess, took what talent they have and said, okay, I'm going to fix my favorite thing. Now that looked so healthy and so good. And the lady who did that she teaches fitness, and boy, did she do some great foods. So, yeah, and then she did one thing that wasn't really fitness, but she said, oh, it's got fruit in it. That thing disappeared. That did the disappearing act. So, yummy. So, make it simple, make it southern, make it scrumptious. And those, I wanted one of those so bad, and I kept forgetting to pick one of them up. And then I looked, and they were gone. But, oh, gosh, the food was amazing. And that's what fall weather brings. It brings people together. It brings laughter. It brings friends and family and just a lot of folks getting together and had a good time. Just meet and greet in your driveway. Now, that's pretty simple. That's about as simple as it gets. Show up in the driveway and bring something to eat. And I thought, yeah, that makes sense. So thank you to everybody. And thank you for allowing me to stop by and visit with everybody. It was a fun day. And there is my Italian. You can see him from the back in the black. Oh my gosh, that man can cook. His wife must love waking up to the smell of what their kitchen has to smell like. It was amazing. But thank you to everybody, and just a fun weekend. And that's what it's about. You know, cooler weather makes us want to get out and have fun. And it was funny because some of the folks brought their animals, and their animals got along, and it was a good evening. It was a really good evening. I'm fixing to sneeze, y'all, and we're going to pretend I'm not. Uh-oh. I did. I'm sorry. I sneezed. Oops. Neighbors gathering together. You know, ETC had a slogan, neighbors serving neighbors. This is neighbors serving neighbors their finest food. And I love that. So thank you to everybody who came. And it was one of them things, pick up the phone, call and say, hey, we're doing this and this and this, and everybody gets together, brings a plate, and you're done. That makes sense. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it fun. And and basically they're having a party because there's no construction around them anymore, and they were so excited about it. And I said, yeah, I guess that is a good reason for a party. So had a great time, and everybody brought something really cool and loved it. So thank you to everybody, and thank you to Lisa and Sean for hosting. That was just a fun time. Now, thank you to everybody who was part of the Marble Festival. Thank you to anybody who volunteered. Thank you to everybody who was part of coming to Jasper, Georgia, and honoring and visiting a city that I dearly love. I lived there for many years, and I was there at the first Marble Festival, and I remember how small and how tiny it was, and it has grown immensely. And one of the hits has always been the tours. The tour of the old jail, the tour of the marble mines. That I have seen those sales up close and personal. When I had a friend who was a sheriff and they lived there. So, or when I got a speeding ticket. No, I did get a speeding ticket, but I didn't have to go upstairs. But isn't that a beautiful old jail? If you have not visited Pickens County lately, do it. And this is part of the marble tour. And I love that. They always have a great group of people come to see. You know what? Marble is a big deal in Pickens County. It is still a big deal in Pickens. It is one of those things that there's still plenty of it left, and they're going to be digging it out and digging it out and digging it out. And you saw some of the pieces. I think it said one of those weighed 43,000 pounds. Okay, this is happening October 18th. You see those gems? You see that stuff? Everybody knows Ball Ground was the rock city for a long time because Oscar had all the buildings full of rocks, and everybody would walk by and look at the rocks. On this date, on October the 18th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., cash only, you can come by, and right across the street from the Burger Bus, there will be rocks for sale. And thank you to all the sponsors of the Marble Festival. Did a great job. Everybody showed up and showed out. It was fun. There were things for every single age. and it was family friendly. It was just so cool to see everybody. They had this kind of music, that kind of music. They had some clogging. They just had all kinds of things. And again, thank you to the sponsors, because without that, the Marble Festival could not happen. And it is now 43 years old. So look at that, 43 years old. And again, you get together and you come to your community and you do well. You do well. You thank folks and you be a part of it. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Now, I want to share these shirts with you, because one of the other things about the fall festivals, everybody has vendors and everybody has booths. And these shirts were done by my dear friend Bonnie Lacey over in Albertville, Alabama. For years and years and years, she did craft shows, and that's what she and I did, craft shows together. And we traveled and we made tons and tons of stuff that was sold all over the world, and that was how we made a living. We loved everything we did. Her husband came down with dementia. That changed her life. And so I have a bunch of her shirts that I want to share with y'all, and I'm going to be selling these because she can't get out and do it anymore because she can't leave him. So this is what Bonnie does, and I love that her message is about the Lord, and on each shirt she does a message about the Lord. This is obviously a Christmas shirt, and I love that. And then she does this one, and I know there are days that she says, God, why am I going through this? But she stays in faith. And this is what she does. And this one says, God is good all the time. And she has to really think about that one, because she has been through so much. And her husband was a Sunday school teacher. They were in church every Sunday. It's very confusing, very hard now, because he can't do that. And he doesn't remember. And they're very young. And it's really, really tough to see them going through this. This is one of my favorites. This says, God says you are unique, special, lovely, precious, strong, chosen, and forgiven. I think this is my favorite. It has fall colors in it. And I just love it. I just love it. I've got a big variety of her shirts. And if you would like to purchase one, pick up the phone and call me at 404-375-0590. Again, I'm trying to help her do craft shows without doing craft shows, because she can't. She can't leave him, and he can't go be in crowds because it's very, very confusing to him. And this is Angela's color. It says, quit trying to steal the pen. Trust the author. God is still writing your story. God is still writing your story. And there you go. She does all kinds of varieties. She does specialty shirts. She is a truly great artist, and I love her so much. And I'm so sad that they're having to go through what they're going through. But you know, God doesn't make mistakes. And sometimes we look back, and I look back at Angela's death, and I think, God, why did you let that happen? Well, it was no mistake. It was no mistake, and we have to live with that. God's plan is perfect. Now this one, I love these colors. Trust the Lord with all your heart. Is that not sweet? And she's so positive and upbeat and struggling. Because when you're at the age that you should be still out doing the things you love and doing craft shows and this and this and this, and you can't because you're your husband's caretaker, it changes life. But it doesn't change the love you have, and it doesn't change your commitment to him. Now this one, be transformed by the renewing of your mind so you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God, no matter what you're facing. And this one is actually going to go to Michigan. It's going to Michigan. But isn't that beautiful? And there's nothing any prettier than a beautiful butterfly, and especially in fall, you know, those fall colors. And this one is funny. I love this one because this is truly what it's all about for the kids. Frankly, it's all about the candy as we approach Halloween. So fun shirts for a good cause. And I just told her, I said, okay, I'm going to help you out. She can't do craft shows anymore. She can't do the things that she loved. She has a hard time. Because as she leaves the room, he follows her and he worries. And it's tough. It's tough. You know, I watched my husband lose his life to cancer, but I don't think there's anything any harder than watching someone you love slip away before they pass away. And it's very hard to have an Alzheimer patient in the house. It's very hard to have to deal with the changes in your life, but that's what happens. I don't know, do y'all believe in miracles? Do you still believe in miracles? Well, I do. I believe that God does have a perfect plan. And I met a family this weekend. I'd met their daughter several times and spent time with her and talked to she and her husband, and precious couple. But her mom told me a story yesterday. I didn't know this. This daughter is a miracle. She had amazing surgery about 15 years ago, and she could have not made it. They said her percentage of living, and her head was cut from one end to the other. And doctors said, we don't have a clue. We don't know if she's going to make it. It's going to be very touch and go. But her mother, the prayer warrior, started a prayer chain. And this is, you know, when you think 15 years ago, we had cell phones, but we weren't so into craziness, and we weren't so into things. So she started a prayer chain just by people she knew, telling this one, telling that one, telling that, and sharing the message of her daughter's surgery and what they were facing. And prayer changed things, because the doctor, who didn't have much faith in what he was about to have to do, saw a miracle. And the kid is now 29 years old, absolutely beautiful, graduated from college with just under a 4.0 average. Amazing, amazing young lady. That is God's work. That is God's plan. And we have to say, we don't understand sometimes, but we accept it always. And now they're getting to move into their beautiful new home, and just a happy, happy family. Mama started that happiness with just prayer and faith. And so if you're facing something today, and this is the time of year, all of us, every mom that I know who lost a child dreads this time of year. There's going to be that empty seat at the table. There's going to be that day that you would love to see your child, and they're not going to come in the door. They're not going to be there for Thanksgiving. They're not going to be there for Christmas. But think about it. Would you bring your child back if they're sitting at the Lord's table? I don't think so. I don't think so. So today, start today as we approach the holidays, and prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for thinking about the feast that your child is having. Think about the things that are different in heaven compared to what we're facing here on earth. So understand that there are miracles. And I saw something else yesterday. Another mom shared something with me, and it was just weird how things are just coming together. And I'm like, this isn't weird. It's His plan. This mom's son saved somebody in their 20s. Her son was a police officer, and he was in the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong place at the right time. He didn't have any reason to be where he was, and he was driving around in Roswell, just driving around. And he just saw something that didn't look quite right, and for some reason he stopped, and he stopped somebody from committing suicide. And they were very close to being gone from this earth. They had already turned blue, and he stopped. He brought them back, and they are still alive today. And it was one of those things. He wasn't on call. He didn't get a call to go there and render aid. None of that happened. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He had to break the window out of the vehicle to save the person. He did that. That is God's plan. God knew that young police officer was going to be coming up there. He knew. The man sitting in the vehicle that was taking his life didn't know that. He didn't know that he was going to live. He lived. And that's God's plan. His plan is always perfect, and we have to accept it. Sometimes we don't like it. There have been a lot of times I'm like, I don't like this. But we have to accept it. So when you feel defeated, when you feel like I can't get through the holidays, when you think I'm not going to make it through this disaster without my child, yes, you will. Yes, you will. You just have to start yourself a prayer chain, or you have to just pray that you're going to get through this. And you will. I promise you, you will. I look back at me, and I don't cry like I used to. And I'm like, that is so weird to me, because I cried to release the pressure, I guess, of having a nervous breakdown, but I didn't have it. I came through it. And I'm like, okay, I did not come through it alone. If God hadn't been walking side by side, if there hadn't been angels carrying me many, many days, I would never have made it. So don't give up on yourself. If you're fighting depression, if you're fighting hurt, if you're fighting something that you think you can't make it through, yes, you can. Yes, you can. We're going to take a commercial break, and then somebody's going to join me, and we're going to talk about. It's been a very, very busy weekend. Ball Ground rocks, Georgia marbled, and everybody had a really, really good time. And when we get back, we're going to talk about all the stuff you're going to get to see in the future, because there's a lot that's coming to us that's new stuff. We'll be back in just a minute.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time, and delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
If you or your business are looking for local advertising opportunities, we have sponsorships available for new programming coming soon on ETC3. Contact us at 706-697-5591.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
You're going to get to see some new stuff. This is why. He has been traveling the roads, the highways and the byways. And I'll tell you, this weekend you couldn't travel 515 because from south of 108 all the way up to Jasper, it was standstill traffic. It wasn't because of wrecks, it was because of people. Did you see a bunch of people at the Marble Festival?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that came out. We didn't really see a lot of people yesterday come out until the lunch period.
Church, people went to church.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Yeah.
And it was great getting to do that. That'll be coming your way soon. It was also nice to just be surrounded by all the food. We were surrounded by all of it. But yeah, we did all the music and stuff yesterday, and it was a good time.
Now, was most of it local talent?
Yeah, so we had Mountain Gypsy Music, who are from Blairsville. We had Cy Chadwick, who's from Nelson. We had the Capital City Cloggers, or the Carpet Capital Cloggers from Dalton. We had Jenna Brooke Howell, who's from Ball Ground, and we had Kenny Whitmire from Nashville.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. What a great variety. And, you know, we started here, and we talk about it all the time. This studio started with local talent, and we had something today we wanted to share with you, but because of the way it was loaded, we couldn't share it. But it was Barry Scott, his sister, and his sister as they were singing a cappella, and we've tried everywhere in the world. So, Barry, if you're watching, you need to send it to me so we can share it, because it's one of those things. That's what started this television station, was raw mountain talent that just came out of their porches, came down from the hills and said, hey, we can do this. And we were picking and grinning here when Picking and Grinning was pretty long ago, 22, 23 years ago.
Yeah.
That's when they started with just the music events.
Yep.
But it's important now for y'all to carry on the events. Now, you're going to be at the first Tuesday?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to be at the first Tuesday in the Twin Cities. It'll be the third one that they've done. I'll be doing that tomorrow in McKaysville, and then we'll be at day 2 and day 4 of the Apple Festival in Ellijay.
And if you went to the Apple Festival and you saw vendors who do things like this, you know, many people, like Bonnie, would produce all of her stock and have it ready for craft shows. That's what she would do. And then when her husband came down with this sad illness, she couldn't do it. If you're depending on making a living seasonally doing this and then something changes, you have to take a different route. And that's why I told her, I said, hey, we'll sell shirts. So we're selling shirts. You have to do what you have to do. But a lot of these crafters prepare all year long to come to the Apple Festival. And many of them will sell thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and others won't sell enough to pay their booth fee. So please go out and support these people who come and make it possible for you to wander around all day, eat apples, to eat. Do you like candied apples?
I think I've only ever ate like a few, but I haven't ate one in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't thought about them. I've never made them, but Mama used to make them. And there's just something about apples. There's something about apples that brings people together. Did you see the footage of Ansley taking the baby to pick apples last week?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, she did a little video, and Xana had on a cute little dress and cowboy boots, and she was sitting out there with the animals, and then she was picking apples and had an apple in her hand, and I thought, you know what? An apple can start a conversation and teach a child so much, because you can show them the seed, you can read them the poem about Johnny Appleseed, and then you can show them the trees in bloom. You can go to the apple orchards when they're blooming. Then you can go back as the apples are growing, and you can teach your children from just visiting one of our local apple houses. Because they're making, how many tons of apples do you think come out of Gilmer County?
I don't even know. I mean, we're the apple capital for a reason.
We are.
Georgia. But
we are.
I honestly don't even know. I've probably millions, maybe, if not less than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, and the weather dictates the crop. And I have been sitting here after a hard freeze in February where the apple growers got hit hard. But this year, I think it ought to be a good crop, except we had a drought for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were able to water and if the apples will be good, but get out to your local apple growers all the time and tell them thank you. Tell them thank you. Tell them thank you for what they do, because the people they're bringing in to pick these apples are going to go to your gas station. They're going to go to your restaurant. They're going to stop in your Dollar General, and they're going to stop and just get to know the communities that we serve. And it's important to, once a year, these mountains are really, really full of people. So it's important that we bring people in and we say, welcome, welcome. Now, did you meet any new people down in Jasper?
I met some of the guys that worked on the audio and stuff for the event, and they were pretty nice. We got a lot of different angles, a lot of different things. They had hula hoop contests, which I got drug into, and
oh my God.
Yeah, fun. Wasn't really happy about that, but yeah, I needless to say, I lost, and it was a lot of fun. The setup is always the difficult part, because you don't really know what you're going into and don't know what's going to happen. But then once you start going, it's like fine, like
Makes
it's
sense.
a breeze after that.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Did anybody have drones there?
No, I know we did talk about bringing ours. Aaron talked about bringing his, but we didn't. But I think it's like Aaron said. He told me yesterday it's hit or miss with the festival. So I didn't see any, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw any next Sunday.
I would love to see somebody who sat at 5:15 as it changes from 5:75 to 5:15. Traffic just dead stopped. And it was crazy. And everybody was like, there must be a bad wreck. No, it's just traffic. 5:15 was designed to get people to the mountains. I don't think anybody who designed it knew how many people were coming to the mountains.
No.
And it's just like this. On October 10th, the festival, the Georgia Mountain Fall Festival in Hiawassee starts. This has maintained the economy of that town for years and years and years because there was no other reason to go there. They didn't have companies, they didn't have a lot of jobs, they didn't have a lot of anything. But now my reason to go there would be KFC and Lake Chateau, right?
That's worth an hour. That's worth an hour of driving.
It is. It is. So there's something about Hiawassee that I had never taken advantage of until last year when I said, guys, why don't we go out on a boat and why don't we show Lake Chateau? It's addictive. Once you get there, you're like, well, you know, maybe I should have planned my life better and I should have saved more for retirement. Maybe then I could buy that little house over there on Lake Chateau, and maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that. Live your life day to day, enjoying every moment. And if you have not been to Lake Chateau, check it out. Because there's a campground, there is a city park where they have picnic tables and benches where you can just walk out and sit lakeside, which is really, really cool. And one of the things we were talking about, probably need to make another trip up there because as we were boating, we didn't do all the shoreline, so we didn't see all the amazing houses. But there are some amazing homes up there, and people have chosen to leave the city and bypass all the other towns that we serve and go to Hiawassee because of that lake.
I didn't know that on that thing when he was talking about you in your interview in Ellijay, I didn't know that you could like stop the boat and then go eat somewhere after that. I thought that was neat. I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah. You can go dockside and park, and they have several restaurants where you can eat. And I'm like, that is just the coolest thing ever. And it's not that far from home. What would it take us from here, an hour?
Yeah, it usually takes from Ellijay to Hiawassee, usually takes an hour, I would say.
Which isn't bad, and it's a beautiful drive. And if you don't want to do 515, you can do the back roads. You can do the back roads. Now, you've been working on taking some of my footage of the lake life and putting it with a song about the mountain life.
Yes.
And this guy, where is that? Where's this guy? See this guy right here? This guy is the reason you hear the music in our opening, because the music just fit perfectly. That's right, that's right. The mountain life. And so now, should we challenge him to write a song about a lake? I don't even know if that man can swim.
I don't know about that. I mean, he's wrote so many songs, so I mean, he probably would be up for it.
He might. Okay, on this CD, and if you don't have a copy, stop me and get one. The Mountain Life, Southern City Lights, I've Been Wrong Before, Welcome to Ellijay, Daddy's Lunchbox, Jesus Called, Baby Blue, Merry Christmas Ellijay, and 50 GMC. So we want to share a little bit of this music with you, and we hope to entice you to get out and visit every single town we serve, from Ball Ground to Turtle Town and everything in between. And when we think about it, I'm about to list something. It's crazy, but I'm listing something up in Fannin County. I'm listing something in Mineral Bluff. I'm listing something down in Kennesaw. There's this whole cluster of places, and people are very much alike. They came here for the good life. They like to go to church. They like to go to gospel singings. They love to go to craft shows. They love to go antiquing. What do you find that other people love about the communities that we serve?
Well, you know, we got a lot of different things. I mean, we got a lot of different restaurants. We got a lot of different, especially in downtown Ellijay. I mean, when you're talking about antiques, we got a lot of those. The history of it all is a big thing, no matter whether you're in Pickens, Blue Ridge, Ellijay, Copper Hill, whatever. You know, there's a lot of history with all those cities. I think it's just, you know, it's a getaway from the city in general, because, you know, all that stuff can be really crazy. And getting to small towns like that, not only in the North Georgia area, but any small town really, I think it just helps anyone kind of decompress and, get away from all
Yeah.
the busyness,
I don't think you even knew about this, but I used to have a little cabin up in Mineral Bluff. And every month when I would make the payment on it, on my check, I would write sanity. And everybody would look at me and say, what does that mean? Are you seeing a psychologist? I said, no. I created my own sanity by finding a cabin on the creek side where you could open the windows and hear the creek. And honestly, to unwind, there's nothing like these mountains. There's nothing like the mountains in the communities we serve, from Ball Ground to Turtletown. And I've got a little cabin listed here in Ball Ground, in Ellijay, that is truly the mountain life. And the family came, he was a builder in Florida. They came up here, they built this house in 2011, and they lived there. Actually, at the end of his life, he went to be with children in Florida, where he passed away, and she's down there now. And when I listed this property, it was like this little piece of heaven that they found in the North Georgia mountains. Well, they came from Florida, and it's very different. Have you been to Florida enough to know that that state's flat?
Yeah.
It's pretty flat.
Yeah, I've been there a lot.
Flat. So when people come from Florida and I show them property and they say, well, we wanted a flat yard. Well, y'all should have stayed in Florida then, because we don't have many flat yards.
Nope.
But we have beautiful mountain views. The cabin that I just listed is very close to Carter's Lake, and it has a little stream on its property. It is just, it's beautiful and peaceful. And I said it could also be named Sanity, because when you pull into the driveway, you're surrounded by trees and it's very, very quiet. And then there's a creek, so you can hear the creek flowing, and it's about 10 minutes outside downtown Ellijay. So it's not in a development, it's on 2.5 acres, and it's one of those things, if you're looking for a getaway, I've got one. So you can pick up the phone and call me. Love to show it to you. But that was their happy spot. That was their happy place. They had Bible study at their home, and they came here to live out their life, and they were lucky enough to do that. So if you're lucky enough to have landed in Gilmer County, in Pickens County, in Cherokee County even, if you're lucky enough to go to Fannin County and be on the Toccoa River, then you're lucky enough. That's pretty lucky. Now, have you ever rafted the Toccoa River?
I have not. I know I think my parent or my mom and my brother did while we went to Rome Braves game, because, I was a kid, so I didn't want to do any of that stuff.
You didn't want to do anything.
But would I try it? Maybe.
Yeah. I have not done the Ocoee. So if you have done the Ocoee and the River Road, you know how winding and crazy it is. But it's so stunningly beautiful. If you've been to Copper Hill and you cross the railroad track and you look over there at that big, huge hill where it's just nothing but it's an orange color, that's where many jobs were for over 100 years. That's a place that should be always remembered, because that mine paid everybody's paycheck every week for years and years and years, and then the mine was shut down. And now it does some operation, but very small. It was a huge part of the community, and McKaysville had multiple grocery stores, they had banks, they had dress shops, they had all kinds of things in there, and that sustained them. Now, you weren't, what year were you born?
2000.
Okay, no, he wasn't alive.
Yeah.
When the town flooded, and I think I told y'all about that and showed you some pictures of it. McKaysville came back from the Great Flood, and they're thriving and doing well again. We come back. That's what mountain folk do, is they come back. You get something hard thrown at you. Your grandparents are praying folks.
Yep.
Yeah. You pray and you get through whatever you're facing. And I guarantee you there's somebody sitting out there today watching us. I think about one precious lady who lost her only daughter, and I think about another precious couple who lost their only son. We don't like the holidays. We don't like knowing that that child isn't going to be there with us. But it is God's perfect plan. Growing up in the family you grew up in, have you been taught that it doesn't always have to make sense?
I mean, well, we lost my aunt not too long ago, which is Babel's sister, and she used to come to Christmas all the time, and she hadn't been coming for several years, so it's like a piece of that is missing. And yeah, it's, nothing's guaranteed. I mean, you just got to live life like, it's the last day,
Today, and enjoy every moment.
Yeah.
Every moment. So we're going to share a little bit of music by the man. I get tickled because this is the Merry Christmas Ellijay, and he put this on, what do you call this? Not a flash drive, but a
USB?
USB.
Yeah.
A USB. Because a lot of cars have USBs in it. He also did it on a CD, but this is the Christmas CD that is available. And then this is the Mountain Life CD that is available, and all you got to do is chase me down. Now, my favorite song on here is still I've Been Wrong Before, but I don't care what the guys do today. Y'all pick us a song about the mountain life, and it can be any one y'all want to do, even the Christmas, Merry Christmas Ellijay, because the first time I heard it was in July. It made me cry like a baby. This was done, the Georgia Mountain Fair, when we did the special there.
Yep.
And you and Tim had never been through all that stuff.
I've been through the historical with all that stuff in it before. I don't think I went that far back into it like we did, but I've walked through it when there's stuff there, but I never seen it like completely empty like it was.
Yeah.
So that was a first for me.
It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
And so don't forget Georgia Mountain Fall Festival, October 10th through the 18th. And the carnival will be the 10th and 12th. Enjoy one weekend of spectacular rides, games, food, and more. Bonus Thursday, October 9th is preview night, 5 p.m. to close. So get out and be a part of this, which brings in tons of money for everybody in Georgia because people head there from everywhere. Let's take a music break and let's hear something by Mr. Ellijay.
It was Christmas time in my hometown in 1989. Kinfolk would be coming down, but none of whom were mine. So I told the captain, I'll just work a double, I believe, so the ones that have their families can be home on Christmas Eve. I'm a policeman in Georgia, and a young one, by the way. Silver bells, shotgun shells, and a four-door Chevrolet. The weatherman says snow tonight, and no one should be out. Slim left word to park the cruiser and patrol in my old Scout. Barely just into the night, as the snow came falling down, dispatch come on with a call to the bridge just north of town. The call came from a payphone. They said they saw a light. As I approached, an old guitar was ringing through the night. There beneath the steel and stone, on a worn-out sleeping bag, an old man sat there all alone, humming one by Hag. The fire lit up his tired old face, his eyes shining the light. He said, "Lieutenant, I guess I'm out of place, but I'll just be here for tonight." Dispatch come back on the air. Is everything 10-4? I told him I'd be there a couple minutes more. I said that old Gibson sounded fine. He said it's all that's left that I call mine. It's been with me since 1954. I had a loving family, but the Lord, He needed them more than me. New Year's Eve, 1967. It seems like only yesterday, but it was long ago and far away. I'm on the road, and they're all up in heaven. He said, anyway, I can't play like before. My fingers don't work good anymore. If you'll let me stay here just tonight, I'll be gone by morning light. I stood a block of wood up on its end, and he handed me his only friend. I sat down there by the fire, and I played that old man's heart's desire. As he lay back there on his sack, I played the one about the Cadillac, and I watched him as he drifted off to sleep. I put his old guitar to bed, jumped his fire in my head. A scene played out that I will always keep. Be careful how you treat them all. You never know when you might fall and need someone to show a little love. Or even in just what disguise something opens up your eyes, or when you'll have a visit from somewhere up above. 2 C's 10-8. Merry Christmas, Ellijay.
I'm so glad that we chose that song, because when you think about it, and I hadn't talked about this, that young police officer who stopped the suicide that was happening in Roswell. Every day a police officer is going to lose his life. Every day a police officer is going to happen like Dwight did on that gentleman who was under the bridge. And he stopped and he helped him and he gave him just a little lift, a little support, a little something. Every single day a police officer faces something that none of us would want to see, none of us would want to face, whether it be death or having to go tell somebody that somebody had lost their loved one. There's so many things that police officers, and as the holidays approach, that is a very tough time for them battling with depression. So today, back the blue. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. We face things every single day that we think, oh, this is just terrible. What if you come up on a scene and a horrific accident happens and a child lost its life? That police officer has to deal with that forever and never forgets it. So please continue and back the blue. And I was looking last night at it was funny when Brantley came home and we had the big ride and they escorted him all the way from Chattanooga and all the way down here. And then he got to ball ground and we had this big, huge flag out there and there were people standing and in support. We should support them every day, not just when they get shot on the job. We should support the back the blue every single day.
Yeah,
Very important.
I know that's usually what happens is like nobody supports anything or like the killings or whatever until something bad happens, and then they start to take like action on it, which I think is kind of crazy. But I mean, I feel like you should, like you said, do something to prevent it before all of that stuff happens, no matter what it is.
Yeah. Okay, the most chosen name in the last 3 weeks for babies being born is Charles, Charlie, Kirk. That name, or CK. Some people are naming their little girls CK. And I just said, what a way to honor that young man. How many more people are in church? How many more people have accepted Christ? How many more people have changed their life and changed the way they look at things because that young man went to be with the Lord? Was that something that we would have wanted to ever see happen, to lose him? Never. But God's plan is perfect.
Yeah.
And God has now brought a revival that we couldn't have done.
Yeah.
There's no way we could have organized what's happened.
It's not only in America. You see it in like Korea and Australia, like all these countries. I thought that was a wild thing to see all these countries that were like, they were Charlie Kirk and all this stuff, and it was pretty neat.
It is awesome. And it is one of those things, he could have worked every day of his life to bring groups together, bring more people. But the number that God allowed to be brought is astronomical. It is astronomical. And so the churches are growing, and it's just one of those things. And you have to just sit back and say, okay, God, I'm going to watch and I'm going to trust. And it's like this one shirt said, he's not through with the story. He's not through with the story. And no matter what you're facing, when I met the mom yesterday and she told me the story about her beautiful daughter, I mean, I've been with her daughter multiple times. I had no idea what she'd gone through. But she made it. And her mom says, it's always the prayers, those prayers. And they said, even if something tragic happens and you pray your way through it, then the prayer gets you through it too.
Yeah.
So we've all faced that. As we approach the holidays, we think of one family here in Gilmer County who gave it all. Lucy and Rick Harris laid their young son to rest, and he was a Gilmer County boy. And you recently posted the interview with Noah.
Yep.
And to see that and to see how he grew here in Gilmer County. So Gilmer County, you are responsible for that young man. You are a part of the reason that that young man did so well in life, because this is a community based on love and honoring each other and being there for each other. And we see that every day. We see it every day. I think that's one of the things about ETC when it started as a Christian conservative movement, which it was because it started with Christian music. That was a little risky back then. It was a little risky because people are like, well, somebody's going to get offended because we're going to do a church song. Somebody's going to say so. No, that's not been offensive at all. Everybody has loved it. And I think about Billy Wayne Chastain and when Eric used to be here and do a show and Billy Wayne would come down, and I've heard him sing in church, but to hear the message about why people do what they do and to know that they had something happen in their life and they wanted to share the story through either music or through writing. And Lucy Harris is involved in something now. She's writing a lot of poetry. She has produced and published a lot of Noah's poetry. He's still alive in Gilmer County, even though he's gone to be with Jesus, because she has not let his memory die. And I think that's so important.
I know it's pretty wild. I realized the other day that next year will be 25 years of ETC 3.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it started in 2001, and, and I just thought that was really wild to me.
It is, it is. And when we first started, I think about the truck. We were up in Fannin County doing Flavors of the South, and y'all had that box truck, and I swear I think it's the same box truck.
I think it is.
I think it is.
I think it is.
It is. And they showed up, and we had a crew, and we did. Hans did some cooking. I did some cooking. Rhonda was the host, and I think about that. It seems like it was yesterday, but it's almost 25 years. You know, that it's crazy how time just flies. And if you're still healthy, if you're still happy, if life is good for you, then thank the good Lord, because like Bonnie, she would love to be out doing craft shows. She would love to be traveling. She had some craft shows she always did that she did so well with. And then when her husband came down with dementia and then full-blown Alzheimer's, you can't live your life, but you can't give up on life either.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about her. And so she made beautiful T-shirts, and if you want to pick up a T-shirt, pick up the phone and call me. Y'all know how to reach me, don't you? It's 404-375-0590. And you know, when I look back on the days of my life, Bonnie sang at Dawn's wedding at Cool Springs Baptist Church. Bonnie was there for me when Nick was a little bitty baby, and we would run around doing trade shows, and he'd be sitting in the car seat watching movies in the RV or in the van. We had a customized van. And I think about all the days that we've been together, and then I realize how many years it's been. It seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
It seems like yesterday. Now, when did you graduate high school?
2019, yeah.
Okay, does that seem like it's 6 years ago?
Yeah, I was about to say, that felt
crazy.
Like not too long ago. But yeah.
And when you graduated, were you sure what you were going to do with life?
I didn't, because at the time I was working at the movie theater in Ellijay, and I was also, I was only working at the movie theater. But I didn't know what I was going to do, like what I was going to go to school for, or any of that. And I didn't really figure it out until later on when I went to online school at Georgia Northwestern Tech, and I went for business technology. And then now it's not business technology, I'm here. So, I mean, I've always wanted to do this all my life, I mean, since I was 8 or 9 years old.
And
so
he's going to tell, what year did you start watching me on TV?
I started watching ETC probably when my brother started playing basketball, but I think the first time I saw you on TV was like I was maybe 11 or 12.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's been a long time.
I think so. I think that was the first time I remember seeing you on TV and knowing of who you were.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
It is, and it's like it was yesterday. So, and it wasn't yesterday. Trust me, it wasn't yesterday.
No.
Well, thank you for being here.
Yep.
Thank you for being out in the community and getting all the new stuff that you're going to be able to share with people. Y'all are going to see some great stuff coming up. New programming here on ETC. And don't forget, when we leave here, Trace puts it straight on YouTube. We go right to YouTube. Many, many, many old programs with you, your friends, and your neighbors on YouTube now, and share that. And Barry Scott, don't forget, share that music with me, because I wanted to share. They were doing some a cappella, and it was beautiful. Do it now, Barry Scott. I see you out there. Y'all have a great, great day, and don't forget, today is the day that you can make a difference in somebody's life. Just as simple as opening a door for somebody, just as simple as picking up a phone and saying, hey, I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you. We'll see you again soon on ETC. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.